Hello, hello. Hello, guys. Welcome back. This is the Forex Crypto Hub uh, weekly market forecast. So, guys, we are going to check on the financial market and see what we expect this coming week. We are going to check on the market and see what we are expecting this coming week. Remember, check on all the three types, that is sentimental analysis, fundamental analysis, and technical analysis. So we are going to start with sentimental analysis, where I'm going to use my FX book. FX book. This is where we're going. Mhm. So once you go to your my FX book, you come and where we have community, and then you scroll down there where we have sentiments, and you click on sentiments and drop down there. You are going to see now the sentiments. You are going to see them there. Uh, so for Euro USD, this is it. You can see the people who are on sales on USD are 73%. Only 27% are on buys. So as for me, basing now my analysis on this, I can be looking for buys this coming week. I would like to align myself with the minority. Uh-huh. GBPUSD, you can see it's almost a tie. We have shorts are 56%, longs are 44%. So that means we might see a consolidation in the market. We might see a consolidation in the market. For USDJPY, you can see 75% are on sales, longs are 25%. So we can expect buys on this pair, as well as on GBP 82% on sales, 18 on buys, right? So let's check on gold and then we can proceed. Let's check on gold. Gold, where are you? XAUUSD, yeah, it is. So you can see for shorts there are 51%, for longs it's 49%. So basing our argument on the statistics we have here, is that there's high probability we might be experiencing what? We might be experiencing consolidation. Now we move to fundamental analysis and see what the fundamentals got for us. Then after that, we shall proceed to technical analysis. So let's check on fundamental analysis. For fundamental analysis, we normally check that on the FX calendar. On the FX calendar, you come on the section and calendar. So today is on Sunday. You can see we have had some news there that is on China CNY. That so tomorrow is on Monday. Tomorrow is on Monday. And tomorrow being on Monday, the major news we are going to have here is at 4:05, that is on JPY. Where is going to be giving a speech. That is now the governor to the Bank of Japan. He will be giving a speech. So for that, we can't say anything about it. Uh-huh. Coming to Monday as well at 6 p.m., we are going to have ISM manufacturing PMI. ISM manufacturing PMI, it stands for Purchasing Managers Index. Purchasing Managers Index. This is data that is compiled or collected by the Institute of Supply Management in the USA. And the data is collected from different levels. We have the production level. You can check on new orders, about employment as well. How many people are leaving their jobs? How many people are getting employed, and so on. About supplies as well, deliveries which have been done, and so on. There's a lot that is considered in this. So now, our focus comes on excuse- now on the numbers. So you 48.7% is 49%. So have a reading which is below 50%, it shows contraction. So that means that's doing well. But having a reading above 50% shows an expansion or um, there's an increase. So if it's above 50%, that's good news for the dollar. If it's below 50%, that's bad for the dollar. And this time, what I can expect a reading above 50 or at 50. Most probably at 50 or 51%. But let's wait and see what happens. That is 6 p.m. So if that is to happen, we are going to have sales at the XXX USDs, the GBPUSD, LDUSD, EURUSD, gold, and the rest. Yeah. Now we are going to have Tuesday. This is Tuesday. So on Tuesday, there's not any major news on Tuesday. We don't have any major news on Tuesday. So we move forward to Wednesday. On Wednesday, we are going to have a GDP, gross domestic product, quarter to quarter, quarter to quarter. That Austria. Remember, Austria is among those countries which highly impact the gold price. So you can watch on gold. This is at 3:30 a.m. So just a few minutes after the open of the Tokyo session or the Asian session. Sorry, you can check out. We are going to have at 10:30 a.m. We are going to have CPI month over month. That is on CHF. We're going to at 4:15. We are going and remember, ADP is um, one of the leading indicators to NFP. Remember, this is the first week of the month actually. The last and also sorry, the first week of the month. That is now for the month of December. So NFP is just around the corner. That's why we can see now having the ADP and farm employment change coming in. And this that is published or is released by ADP. ADP is automatic data processing. That is the body that releases this report, and it estimates the monthly change in the private sector, non-farm employment in the US. So mostly it is grayed out to the private sector, excluding the people who have been employed by the government, people who are working in the non-farm, the farm, non-profitable organizations, right? So that is how it works. And as been saying that when it comes to employment data related to employment, we normally have to check on the actual and the forecast. If the actual is greater than the forecast, that's positive news for the dollar. If it's the opposite, that's negative news for the dollar. So you can see previous was at 42,000. The expectation this time is 19,000. But as for me, I can take um, and say that I can expect an actual greater than forecast, an actual greater than the forecast. So if you have 20K, 19.5K, 30K, as long as the number is above, that's good news for the dollar. So let's wait and see how the outcome will be. Now, let's check on at 6 p.m. At 6 p.m., we are going to have the ISM services PMI. And the ISM service PMI, these are data which is compiled or released by the Institute of Supply Management in the US as well. And remember, services cover almost 70% of an economy. So all the services they all lie under ISM service PMI. And for this one, we check on also the outcomes. If the reading is above 50, that's expansion. If it's below 50, that's contraction. So you can see previous we had a 52.4 drop of 0.4, but let's wait and see. We might see an increase to maybe 55 or something above that. So let's wait and see how it's going to be. That will be on Wednesday. Moving forward on Thursday we are going to have an employment claims. Remember, we normally have this data release each and every week, um, but we have had exceptions in the previous weeks where we had the shutdown of the U.S. government. But since it's back, we can now see this data coming out. So in the previous week, the data was the actual was at 216. And this time round, they are expecting it to increase. So, coming to unemployment, if actual is less than forecast, actual less than forecast, that's good news for the dollar. And if it's vice versa, that's bad news for the dollar. So, I'll be expecting an actual less than. I expect an actual less than. I expect now people to have started getting some jobs for those who had been on pause. I expect them maybe to be resuming their jobs and so on. So let's wait and see what's going to happen on that day. Now let's move to the final day of the week. That's on Friday, and on Friday we are going to have an employment change and also the employment change data report that is on Canada, and it's going to be released at 4 p.m. The release will be at 4 p.m. And then in the US, there's something interesting. Something interesting in the US is the core PCE. PCE stands for personal consumption expenditure. Personal consumption expenditure, and it tracks how much prices consumers pay for goods and services over a period of time, right? Yeah, and the word when you see the word core means is prices for goods and services excluding food and energy. Why? Because food and energy they are very very volatile, so they are not included in this report. So when we are checking on this, we check on it's an inflation indicator. It's an inflation indicator. So the Fed watches this data closely before they make their decision on the interest rates, whether rate pause, rate hikes, or rate cuts. Right. So when it raises or it goes up, that means an actual greater than the previous. That indicates that inflation has increased. So actual greater than previous equals to inflation going high, and if inflation is high, we might expect interest rate hikes or an increase in the interest rates, which will lead to us having a strong dollar index or DXY being bullish, and then vice versa can happen. If it's going down, that shows inflation is cooling, and if inflation is cooling, we can have a possibility or an high probability of having rate cuts, right? Yeah, so this data is going to be very, very crucial. As also this month, we are going to have the last FOMC, so it's going to be very, very crucial. And in the FOMC, I highly expect either rate pause or rate hikes, but I don't see there having rate cuts again. So let's wait and see what happens with the market and so on. Something I forgot to say is that this data is released by the US Bureau of Economic Analysis. Yeah, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, or BEA. That's the body that releases this data. So if let's say if the actual comes at let's say if we are expecting, that is now the forecast, as we have here at as it as 7%, and the actual comes a number below 70%. That shows it's cooling, it's coming down, inflation is coming down. And as I've just said, if inflation is coming down, we are going to have a possibility of what, a rate cuts. And if there's rate cuts, that a weak dollar. So yeah. So that's it on the economic calendar. That's it on the economic calendar. Yes. So if you have any question concerning that, you can just ask in the chat section. So now, since we're done with the economic calendar, we can proceed to the technical analysis part, where we are going to start DXY, dollar index, or the DXY, dollar index or the DXY. So we're going to have DXY. Yeah, right. So let me clear this and have a fresh analysis. Made some note here before I clear. You can see if the dollar index is bullish, USDXX, that means any pair with the US dollar as the base is going to buy. And XXX USDs, any pair with the USD as the quote is going to sell. So in the first example, the likes of USDJPY, USDCHF, USD CAD, they are going to buy. They follow the direction of the dollar, and then the rest they go to the opposite direction. The likes of GBPUSD, EURUSD, and the rest. That's the simple explanation to that. So we can start our analysis. In this case, let's start from the monthly time frame. Remember, this is the last month of the year. This is the last month of the year, and you can see in the previous months the market has been very, very bearish. Market was very strong bearish, but now in the recent month, market is trying to go up. But this month, or the month ending today, you can see the market went up, then came down. So it's going to close bearish. The market is going to close bearish. So yeah, so on the monthly time frame, we have this fair value gap there. I can mark it because we have this liquidity, we have that one. So in the coming month, the market might decide to go up for that. So let's drop to weekly time frame. Maybe there's something important to see on the weekly time frame. Now coming to weekly time frame, you can see we have this, all of this. We have this liquidity over there. We have all that liquidity. So if the market decides to go up, it's going to be a good one. So in the previous week, you can see the market did not take out last week, but once high nor the low. the market failed to do anything. That was the high of the last week, but one, and here we have the low. And in the last week, the market failed to take out any of them. The market failed to take out any of them. So now, um, if you open your eyes wide and look on this market, you can see the market uh, is forming kind of an inverse head and shoulders, an inverse head and shoulders with a double bottom. So from this, I can expect this market to drop, take out the low there, then come and give us a buy, a very good entry for buys. So if I was to take those buys, I can wait for the market to come to this zone so that I can now take my entries for buys. That is according to weekly time frame. So let's drop further. Let's go to daily. Let's go to daily and see how things look like. So coming to daily time frame, you can see market is very clear. It formed a double top. Market formed a very clear double top. So what can possibly happen? Market can try coming back up slightly, and then we can see the market dropping to this level before we can continue going up. Remember, the market, you can see we had a very strong buys. So the current market trend is a correction, right? So we can expect an impasse. And don't be surprised if the market decides to consolidate here the entire December and January. Don't be surprised by that. Uh, So that is it on the daily time frame. I don't see much to do on it because I've already marked all the zones and everything is okay. So uh, coming to 4 hour time frame, coming to 4 time frame, you can see the market is trying to form a trend. The market is trying to form a trend. The market is trying to form a bearish trend. Market is trying to form a bearish trend over here. Remember, I told you the market moves in two phases, that is impasse, the strong move, correction, impasse, correction, impasse. So you can expect a correction where the market is going to come up, and then you can now expect another impassive move. It might come to this or go below. If you extend this trend line, it's going to be somewhere here or here at now our zone, and then we can expect something like this. So now I can expect this market to come up to that level, and then from there I can look for, from this level I can look for sales. I can look for sales. I can look for sales. I can look for sales on it. How the market approaches this law will determine a lot. The market might come here consolidative. If the market comes here consolidative, we will take a buy here. But if it comes in passive, we will wait for our zone over here. But this is going to be our first target, so that's how we can watch it. Now, let me see, let me see. So, uh, we will first wait and see how the market opens because we don't know how the weekend has been. Sometimes you get that over the weekend a lot has happened, so when the market opens there are gaps and so on. So We wait for the market to open and see how it's going to behave, and then from there we can be ready to take our trades. So that is it for dollar index for me. That's my take on the dollar index. That's my take on the dollar index. Now let's proceed to, let me check GBPUSD. Let me have a quick look on GU. Let me have a quick look on GU. So from monthly time frame, you can see GU has been very bullish. GU has been very bullish, but in the last like 2 months, the market was very, very bearish. And in this month, you can see the market is trying to go back up. So we have that strong resistance there. From that line I've drawn all the way up, it's a very strong resistance. It's a very strong resistance, but allow me to focus on that from the line to the end of the candlestick body. So I can expect the market to come over here. Remember, on the other side, we expected the dollar index to do something. If the dollar index is going to be buying, so this market can eventually make it to this. And if the market makes it to that, and you open your eyes wide, you can see that we have this kind of what, an head and shoulders pattern. An head and shoulders pattern, which is a sell signal. So you have to just wait and see what happens. This is monthly time frame. So let's go to weekly, which might have something clear. Now coming to weekly time frame, the market is having the market is having a trend. The market is having this trend. Market is having a trend, and if you check well, the market is from this side. So this is a possible bullish flag. So the market might push to that zone, come back down, give us a clear double bottom, and then we can go higher. And if that is to happen and we extend our trend line over there, it's going to be very, very nice. So that's a long term view on weekly time frame. So let's go to daily time frame. Now, coming to daily time frame, something very interesting. You can see the market dropped, went up, market went up, and it's kind of struggling here. So we can expect the market to drop further, and then from there we can go up. That's according to daily time frame. So let's check whether a 4 hours time frame is going to clearly show that um, point. So coming to 4 hour time frame, this is going to be a possible entry for the market. So you can expect this market to drop to this level or zone, and then we can look for buys. The market is forming a continuation pattern. If you are very keen, you are going to notice that these are possible bullish flag, which is a continuation pattern. Remember, on the other side, on the other hand, we checked and we said that we can expect DXY to be selling. So if the DXY is going to be selling, GBP USD is going to be buying. All right, so that is for our time frame. On 1 hour, there's nothing much. So let's also wait for the market open and see how things are going to unfold. That is it on the GBP USD. That is it on GBP USD. Uh-huh. We can go to, we can now proceed to gold, which is the last pair we're going to have a look at. XAU, USD, gold. But guys, I'm sure on Friday you saw what happened to the markets. We had a disruption of data, and most brokers took advantage of that. That's why I've always been telling you to choose your broker wisely. For those who are using some brokers, they took your money. For those who are using good brokers, everything was well. And anyway, that's okay. It's just about the way. So now on the weekly time frame, not weekly, sorry, but monthly, you can see what gold has been doing for the last, let's say, for the entire year. For the entire year in some months, you can see what gold has been doing. From this moment when gold formed this inverse head and shoulders here, since then the market has been very, very bullish. You can clearly see, and you can see the market has been moving in the phases: impasse, correction, impasse, correction, impasse. Remember, we are now at December, so we had our highest point over here. What might happen? The market might take out that high, and then come January, the market might consolidate, take the high, give a new high, and then from there we can see sales. Probably the new high will be probably at 4,500, 5,000, one of the points. But let's wait for the market to play its role or its part. So now let's dive into our analysis. So first I'll mark the highest high or the all-time high on gold, which is at 42.81, I guess so. Yeah. Then this is the recent strong level support. I'll mark it. So now on the monthly time frame with the support and resistance being marked, I already have the playground. So let's move to weekly time frame. Let's go to weekly time frame. Let's go to weekly time frame. Let's proceed to weekly time frame. So now, coming to weekly time frame, you can clearly see how the market has been behaving as well. You can see we have been having an impassive move, which is a strong move towards one side, correction, then another impassive move, correction, and impasse. Currently, we are having a correction, so we might experience now what I told you, an impassive move, and that's how the market moves, and that's how easy you can understand these markets. Now, coming to weekly time frame, there's a very interesting thing here. This where I've drawn my horizontal line, it's a very strong resistance. It's a very, very strong resistance. I hope you can clearly see that. It's a very, very strong resistance. And again, I have another strong level. Yeah, I can take it from the wick to the body. It's a very, very strong level as well. So what can probably happen, the market can drop, not exactly to this level, but I can expect a drop, and then from that you can now see the market going up higher. As we continue to refine or going to lower time frames, we'll see where we can possibly have that entry if the market comes down. So that is it on the weekly time frame. Let's proceed to daily time frame. Let's proceed to daily time frame. Let's proceed. Okay, I'll check on BTC, no problem. Let's proceed to what we are on daily time frame. And if you check on daily time frame, well, you will see that the market on gold is trying to form up an uptrend. That is our resistance with two touches, and here is our support. Here's our support trend line. So if the market does as I've just so we'll wait and see how the market opens tomorrow. If the market decides to drop to this zone over here, that is around 4200 or below 4200. It's going to be very, very nice. If the market comes to that, if the market drops to that level, it's going to be very, very nice. So allow me to just use what? Okay, let me just use the zone. It's okay. I'll mark this as an order block over there. So we have the playground, all the zones, all the points you can expect the market to come to. So that is it on daily time frame. Let's see 4 hour time frame. Let's see on 4 hour time frame, and 4 hour time frame becomes more interesting. 4 hour time frame becomes interesting. If you open your eyes well, you will see that the 4 hour time frame, the market is having one. These are very clear double bottom. The first bottom, the second bottom, the market went up. You can see that it's a very clear um, double bottom. And now, currently, what the market is doing over here, the market is trying to form a right shoulder. So we can expect the market to give us a double bottom and also an inverted head and shoulders. Inverse head and shoulders and a double bottom. Now, while at the 4 time frame, while at the age 4, the market the 42.19, and now there's somewhere uh, which is very interesting, and that now is the zone over here. The zone over here is very, very, very interesting. That's going to be my watch zone tomorrow. That's going to be my watch zone tomorrow. Between 4200 to 4180. 4200 to 4180. I can expect the market to first drop, and then from there, the market to have collected enough liquidity to pull it up, uh, grab the liquidity over here, you know, and then give us a new point. So we have a lot of liquidity, yeah. You can see, and it's a very strong liquidity actually. Yeah, so we can expect something of this sort. We can expect something of that sort. Now let's check on 1 hour. Even though on the 1 hour time frame there's nothing much on 1 hour time frame. So you can clearly see that there's nothing much on 1 hour time frame. On 1 hour time frame, whatever what you can see is that the market was just trying to form an uptrend. Let me see. It's going to be clear. Our market was trying to form an uptrend. So you can clearly see that. And what we are having here is a contracting channel. So if the market will come to the anticipated level or zone, it's going to be much better. But as for now, we use what we have, which is now that one. For this one, you can decide to do adjustments. You can decide to do adjustments to that level. And we do adjustments, we are going to have like 3 touches on the resistance and so on. So it's going to be much better actually. It's better while it's so even this one you can see we have 2 touches. Shit. On the trendline support. So if the market decides to drop to our anticipated zone, we are going to have the third touch there, and we can take very, very sweet buys on gold and hold till 4100 if you can. But let's wait to get the entry first. The rest will follow. Someone requested for us to check on Bitcoin. So let me check on Bitcoin. Let me check on BTC. BTC, BTC, BTC. What am I doing? Okay, let me check. BTC, Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin, I've read analysis for I don't know almost how many years. This was since 2023. Yeah, since 2023, I've had analysis on Bitcoin. Yeah? I've made analysis on Bitcoin since 2023. So you can see my long-term target is at what 100, one what around 200, $200,000. So let's wait and see how things are going to unfold on that. So allow me to just do a fresh, quick analysis on Bitcoin. I'm going to use what? Um, I'm not going to use Binance. Let me use what? Let me use Coinbase. You can see even for this one, I had the trade. How many pips are those guys? Shit. So we are going to do a fresh, quick analysis on this. Bitcoin does not require much analysis. Actually, it does not require much. Um, as long as you understand supply and demand or support and resistance, you just check on those strong levels and mark them and wait for the market to come there, form a chart pattern, take your trade, and you are good to go. So what I've marked the all-time high on Bitcoin. I've marked the all-time high on Bitcoin. Remember, this is monthly time frame. Again, we have a very strong support level there or zone, whatever you're going to call it. This one, it's a very strong one. The market dropped, and when the market dropped, it failed to tap this fair value gap over here. And recently, what happened? You can see the market came down. The market came down, and it respected this order block. Let me draw it and see because it's kinda the market went past it. Let's confirm if it respected or went past. So the market went past the order block and then it made some pullback. The market started to pull back. So the market this month might continue to go up or decide to now come to our zone. And if the market comes to the zone, that's going to be very nice, very better for us because we're going to get good entries. We're going to get very nice entries. And actually, this is what I had anticipated for before. So I am still hopeful, not a strategy. I'm still hopeful that the market will drop to this zone, but let's wait and see how things are going to unfold. Remember, something I've always emphasized on is about the market movement. The market phases impasse, the strong move, correction, impasse, strong move, correction, impasse. Currently, the market is correcting, and the best time for you to take entries is when the market is in a correction or a consolidation before it makes an impassive move. So I can highly expect the market to drop. Yeah, remember this is December, and most of the time during December, most of these crypto investors, we normally liquidate our assets to go and enjoy with friends, families, and so on. Gift ourselves as well. You know, yeah, there's a lot that happens on December. So there's normally a lot of liquidation. People are selling some of their assets. So um, sales have high probability of happening. Now that is a monthly time frame. Let's check on weekly. Let's check on weekly time frame. Let's check on weekly time frame. Okay, so what happened here? Formed a double top, dropped massively, and then pulled back. The market is now coming up, and if the market look left, look here, we have a zone over here. If the market comes to that zone, guess the pattern we are going to have? An head and shoulders pattern. And now, if you can base the sentiments, like what I've just talked about, people liquidating the assets on December and stuff, that's are sentiments. Those are sentiments. If you don't understand what sentimental analysis is, just go and do research and understand at least what this is. So, if the market comes to this supply zone now, that's going to be a very, very good point for us have our sales to below 70,000, below 70,000, probably to this 6800, 68,000, sorry, to that level. Then from there we can look for long-term buys. Yeah. So we're going to be very, very keen on this zone. We have that is where we have the balance starting. So wait and see what happens with this new week. So that is on weekly time frame. That is on weekly time frame. That's on weekly time frame. Mhm. So this is block which the market respected. You can see clearly the order block is not clear on this on the weekly time frame. On the monthly time frame, it was not clear. Now coming to daily time frame. Coming to daily time frame. Remember the market phases? Yes. Market in impasse, correction, impasse, correction, impasse, correction. We try to push the market to this level or come and respect a certain area, and then we can see an impassive move. Come grab the liquidity over here. Very nice. Yeah, so can expect the first days of the week market to go up, then from there you can see a sharp drop. That is daily time frame. Let's go to 4 hour time frame. Let's go to 4 hour time frame. So on the 4 hour time frame trend, and the trend the market is trying to form here on the daily time frame, it's what? It's a a correction. Is a correction. So just wait for the market to keep um, up until it hits our anticipated zone, so that now we can take our sales. Again, now if you want to take buys, you can see we have had a very strong impulsive move for buys. The market is now on this consolidation, so someone can look for buys, but I can't see a clear entry on that. Again, looking at this market over here, you can see we have the left shoulder, the head, and whatever the market is forming here is can be termed as a right shoulder, which can be, um, you know, of this sort. So for now, taking taking trades on Bitcoin, it's a little bit tricky. But what I can only expect is the market to first give a short buy, because now this one is clearly a possible bullish flag. This is a clear possible bullish flag. Can clearly see that. So even if we have an head and shoulders inside here, it can the market can sell, yes, but not long. Then after the short sells, we can look for buys, and then up there we can now look for sells. Let's check on what is happening on this 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame, this is now where things look. Um, hmm. So coming to 1 hour time frame, there's a lot. On the 4 hour time frame, as an head and shoulders, and coming to this, you can now see an inverted head and shoulders, which is a buy signal. So I can I can go with the buys. As for me, I can go with the buys, which is good. I can go with the buys. The market formed at about top here, dropped. Currently, this is where the market is trading at. We have had another block here, which the market respected, and it's now going up. So I can expect the market to keep going up. I can expect the market to keep going up. So that is it. That is it for me on Bitcoin. So you can expect the market to go up and then later drop after hitting 2,500. Can drop to 7,000, or it can drop anytime as well. So that is it on weekly market forecast. I don't know if there's any before we can call it a day. If you have a question, just type it there in the comment section. If no question, we can call it a day. I wish you all a peaceful week ahead. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not. Like, share, comment as we keep on engaging the financial markets. Great week ahead, and also have a peaceful night. See you next Sunday for weekly market. And signing out. Bye bye.